What if Mars isn't just deadly? What if it's fighting back? Despite all this, NASA insists that humans will set foot on Mars by the middle of the 21st century. Billions of dollars, decades of scientific progress, and the dreams of generations are being invested in the belief that Mars can become our second home. It's almost as if Mars itself resists our presence. Planet-wide dust storms can last for months, choking out sunlight and power. The soil is filled with chemicals hostile to human life. Even the seemingly simple act of breathing is impossible without technology. We all know Mars for its brutal cold and suffocating lack of air, but there are threats lurking on the red planet that go far beyond what meets the eye. Imagine storms so massive they can swallow the entire planet, or soil so toxic it could poison anything we try to grow.
Mars, Earth's twin, or its ultimate nemesis?
But this raises a chilling question. Is Mars simply hard to live on? Or is there something deeper, some force or pattern that makes it fundamentally unconquerable? If we misjudge the challenge, we could risk not only our lives and resources, but our very future as a species. To understand why Mars tempts us despite its dangers, let's step back and explore the strange hold this planet has always had on our imagination. Mars has haunted human dreams for centuries. But what is it about this distant world that draws us in and pushes us away? Let's uncover the history of our fascination with the red planet. Seen from afar, the resemblance is striking. A Martian day is only about 40 minutes longer than ours. Dusty plains look eerily like deserts on Earth. The poles gleam with white ice caps, hinting at cycles of winter and spring. It's easy to imagine Mars as a possible second home, a place waiting for us to arrive. But beneath this mirror image lies a truth far more unsettling. The Martian year drags on for almost twice as long as Earth's. 687 days of relentless cold. Its atmosphere is a wisp, over 100 times thinner than ours, offering no real protection against cosmic radiation or the freeze of night. For centuries, Mars has gripped our collective imagination as Earth's mysterious sister, close enough to feel familiar, yet always just out of reach. It's a rocky world, orbiting nearby, boasting mountains that dwarf Everest, valleys that stretch for thousands of kilometers, and even seasons not unlike our own. What awakens on Mars every few years? Could it erase humanity's future before we even arrive? Temperatures plunge so low at the poles that even the air itself solidifies into ice. The familiar features, mountains, valleys, dust storms, hide an alien hostility. Mars is a ghostly reflection of Earth, a planet that seems like home at first glance, but is in reality fundamentally different. Its allure masks dangers we are only beginning to understand. But as we peel back the surface, Mars reveals its darker secrets, a world where even the calmest silence conceals dangers that could end any mission in an instant. Maybe our sense of kinship blinds us. We see comfort in Mars's similarities, but every hopeful comparison hides a lurking threat. If we let this illusion guide us, we risk underestimating the true cost and peril of reaching for this red world. The greatest dangers on Mars are the ones we can't see coming. The red planet is haunted by invisible enemies, planet-wide dust storms that suffocate the land, air so thin it steals your breath, radiation pouring in from space with no mercy. These threats are unpredictable and relentless, rewriting the rulebook for survival. But storms are only one hazard. The Martian atmosphere is so thin, just 1% the pressure of Earth's, and made almost entirely of carbon dioxide. No oxygen, no protection. Step outside without a suit, and your blood would boil from the lack of pressure long before you could freeze in the bitter cold. Take the global dust storm of 2018. Without warning, a shroud of dust circled the entire planet, eclipsing the sun for months. NASA's Opportunity rover, a symbol of robotic endurance, was lost. Its batteries drained, its systems frozen by endless darkness. If a storm like this struck a human colony, power would fail, solar panels would choke, and every moment would be a fight for light, air, and life itself. Gravity seems like a playground trick at 38% of Earth's pull, but over months and years, it shreds the human body. Muscles atrophy, bones weaken, and fluids rush to the head, warping vision and straining the brain. Astronauts in space already suffer these effects in mere months. Imagine enduring them for years with no way home. Yet, even in the shadow of these threats, some believe humanity can engineer a future on Mars. Could our boldest innovations transform danger into survival? And the soil itself is toxic. Martian regolith is laced with perchlorates, chemicals deadly to humans and most plants. Growing food isn't just hard, it's outright dangerous. Every step towards self-sufficiency must wrestle with a world that was never meant for us. The risk? Underestimating Mars's hostility could cost more than resources. It could cost lives, doom entire missions, and turn hope for a second home into a planet-wide disaster. On Mars, silence isn't peaceful. It's a warning. Isolation becomes absolute. Communication with Earth is delayed by up to 24 minutes each way, turning every crisis into a lonely gamble. The psychological toll of endless silence, darkness, and separation could break even the strongest minds. The autonomous machines settle Mars before we dare to try? The first pioneers on the Red Planet are not human, they are robots. Drones like Ingenuity have already flown in Mars's thin air, and legged explorers such as Spot from Boston Dynamics are learning to survive where wheels would fail. These mechanical scouts move, sense, and decide on their own, braving an alien world with no real-time rescue from Earth. To prepare the way for humans, these machines must do more than explore. They will have to map treacherous landscapes, avoid hidden dust traps, and construct the first shelters, sometimes while cut off by planet-wide storms. The ability to adapt quickly is not just a convenience here, it is a matter of survival. Mars demands new ways of building. Traditional construction is out of the question when you must ship every gram across millions of kilometers. Engineers are developing ways to 3D print habitats from Martian soil, turning the very regolith into protective walls. Some propose using ice itself as building material, or even cultivating living fungi to grow structures that can repair themselves. Choosing where to build is a gamble with everything at stake. Ice-rich craters promise water but threaten deep freezes. The polar caps offer resources, yet come with extreme cold that can freeze even the air. Ancient lava tubes tempt us with natural protection from radiation and meteors, but they are mysterious and potentially unstable. Each option is a wager. Pick wrong, and the first settlers may not survive their first season. What does it truly take to endure Mars? Not for a day, but for a lifetime. Every decision holds enormous risk. A single error in choosing a site or method could doom an entire colony, wasting years of effort and putting lives in danger before a single human even sets foot on the surface. But if we succeed, if our shelters hold and our machines endure, what will everyday life truly be like for the first Martian settlers? Ahead, we step inside the reality of living on Mars. But the greatest lesson may be that to survive on Mars, we cannot conquer it. The environment is too hostile, too unpredictable. The best chance for life is to hide, burrow beneath the ground, seal ourselves in pressurized cocoons, and use every trick we know to keep out the cold, the dust, and the radiation. This is not about taming Mars. It is about escaping its most lethal dangers, day after day. Life on Mars will be defined by limits. Imagine waking up each morning in a habitat barely bigger than a small apartment, sharing every inch with your crewmates, and following strict routines so nothing goes wrong. Every move is planned, every resource counted, water, oxygen, even minutes of sunlight, all rationed with military precision. Daily exercise is mandatory, not just for health, but to keep your muscles and bones from wasting away under gravity that is less than half of Earth's. To survive, Mars settlers must become more than astronauts. They must become gardeners, engineers, doctors, and psychologists. They will need to be self-sufficient, able to fix what breaks, grow what they eat, and care for each other's well-being. Emotional resilience and new social norms will be as important as any piece of technology. Arguments, boredom, and loneliness can be deadly if not managed. But the biggest threat may not come from storms outside. It may come from within. The silence of Mars, the monotony, and the isolation can push even the strongest minds to their breaking point. The absence of familiar sounds, the endless red horizon, and the knowledge that help is millions of kilometers away can weigh heavier than any spacesuit. Confinement and routine breed stress, anxiety, and even depression. On Mars, mental health will be a daily battle that science and teamwork alone may not solve. If we can adapt, mentally and physically, Mars will force us to redefine what it means to be human. We may need to create entirely new customs, ways of living together, and perhaps even new kinds of community. Success on Mars is not just about conquering the environment. It is about changing ourselves, pushing the boundaries of our bodies, our minds, and our society. On Mars, survival is not about conquering, but about becoming something new. Without deep preparation for these psychological and physical challenges, even the most cutting-edge missions could fail, not from a leak or a storm, but from the slow unraveling of the human spirit. So, if we endure, if we survive and adapt, what is the true reward that Mars holds for us? Let's imagine what humanity could gain on the red planet. To call Mars humanity's second home is a leap of faith. The risks are immense. Every failed crop, malfunctioning habitat, and silent rover is a warning. If we underestimate Mars, the cost is not just lost missions, but the dream of a new beginning for our species. Yet, in that risk lies our greatest opportunity. Mars could be the crucible where we discover new ways to live, to innovate, and to push beyond our limits. Or it could become a graveyard of ambition, its dust swallowing our hopes forever. This is not a simple battle between human ingenuity and a stubborn world. Mars demands transformation, not just persistence. Its challenges force us to question the very core of what it means to survive. Can we adapt our bodies, minds, and societies to thrive in a place where the rules of life are rewritten? For centuries, we have dreamed of planting our flag on the red planet, claiming it as the next chapter of human destiny. But Mars is not a blank slate waiting to be tamed. Every storm that blots out the sun, every poison-laced grain of soil is a reminder. Mars is not just unwelcoming. It may be resisting us. So the question is not whether Mars can be conquered. The real question is, will we accept its challenge and evolve? Or will we shy away, letting fear and caution define our future? Mars stands before us, not a passive wasteland, but a test of our willingness to become something more than earthbound. Which world will you believe in? A Mars that ends us, or one that transforms us?